Let's go look at this house that I built for $19,000. You notice coming up the steps are wide, extra wide. And that gives a welcoming feeling when you're coming up to the house. It's your first time here. You look at it, it's got those wide steps coming up to the front door. It just has a more welcoming feeling than if the steps were narrow. And you come up and if you look at the front wall of the house, the porch ceiling is sloped. And the wall goes up, I don't know, about 10 feet. And it just gives that feeling that the house is much bigger than any mere 530 square feet. It looks like a 2,000 square foot house when you're standing on this porch. Go ahead and pan the porch and show them from one end of the house to the other. Let's go look in the inside. It has concrete siding and cedar trim that I painted. So go ahead, go in. The floor is white oak, genuine white oak. And you see the bay window right here? That allows for a round dining table, and it helps to bump. It's like an RV bump out, really. It just gives a little bit more room, more space in the room for that dining table. And then you got the living room right here, and kitchen over there. But here's the spot. This spot is specifically designed for a TV. Over here is very quickly we get to the kitchen. It doesn't take much time to get to the kitchen because it's a small house. But it's very fluid. The layout is very easy to get around, and if you notice, you can open all the doors in the house wide open without obstructing any pathway. These are the only overhead or wall cabinets in the entire kitchen, but I made up for that with a little pantry closet in the hallway. You'll see that in a minute. This particular house is super insulated, so the utilities are very, very cheap. I've got 12 inches insulation in the attic. There's 12 inches insulation in the floor. The floor is built with 2x12s. The exterior wall is 2x4 studs, but it's all finished on the outside. You got the studs, then you got half-inch plywood for the sheathing, and then 3/4 inch rigid foam for additional insulation, and then the concrete siding on top of that. And it's a very soundproof, very draft-free, very well-insulated house. It takes very little to heat this house. And you notice, even though this house is no bigger than the footprint of a 2-car garage, you have a foyer, you have a bedroom hallway, bedroom and bath hallway, and if you look this way, you cannot see into the bathroom from the front door, living room, kitchen, or dining space. You cannot see into the bathroom, you can't see the shower, sink, or toilet. Now, this particular house, I made this just on a whim with glass doors. And for a 1-bedroom house, this glass door, there's a window right there. It helps the house feel bigger. The more glass you have in the house, the bigger, the more spacious it feels. So that even when the door is closed, you have some light coming through this curtain. And if I was here by myself, I wouldn't even have the curtain on there. It would be fine. And anyway, you got shelves, vanity. This is a space for a water heater. The water heater is in a child-proof closet with a cutoff, and then up above here I put a shelf. And get that closed. And then it's got the can lights in the ceiling, and it's got the yellow walls and the sky blue, the very light blue ceiling. And around the corner here, out of the way, is the toilet. And then of course you got an outside door right here at the bathroom, which I put that on purpose because this house comes with some land space, and when you're outside working in the garden, you can just come up those back steps and come right into the toilet without tracking into the house, which I love that. I love doing that with the house. It's giving the bathroom quick access to the outside. And then you come this way, and then here's that pantry I was telling you about. It's basically a floor-to-ceiling pantry. It's only 12 inches deep, but for a one-bedroom house, it gives a lot of storage space for food. And in the bedroom, now, I did something that some people might not agree with. I put the laundry in the bedroom closet. There is a better way to do that, and I did draw a different plan later after I built this house, and I put the laundry in the hallway and rearranged the bathroom so that the laundry was no longer in the bedroom. But it's fine, it works fine. This is a red house, and so far I haven't heard anybody complain about the laundry being in the closet. But this wall is 12 feet long. And if you put a stack unit here, then it gives you a lot more closet space. But so far, nobody has put a stack unit. Everybody has just put a standard side-by-side washer and dryer right here, which that works fine. But I don't think I'd be doing the laundry at 12 o'clock at night when I'm trying to sleep. And this room, I put some wood boards in the ceiling and stained them. Come around over there and take a look at this. I want to show you what I did for air conditioning in the house. Now see, a window air unit, you think of a window air unit as being installed in a window. Well, instead of doing that, since I wanted this house air conditioned with window units, I cut holes in the wall and actually installed them below the window. And it works fine, it works really good. Because when one of these window air units goes out, all I've got to do is pull it out, throw it away, buy another one. It costs me $125 and I'm done. So it's a whole lot more efficient, a lot cheaper than getting any other kind of air conditioning unit. Anything else will cost minimum $1,700 to $2,000, plus you've got to have maintenance, and it's just a big expense, and I personally am not interested in having to deal with it. So it's a small bedroom, but it's big enough for a queen size bed and full walk around with nightstands and large closet space. So there basically you have it for the inside of the house. It's only 530 square feet. It's 12 by 42 with the bump out of the bay window makes that 532 or 530 square feet. Let's take a look at the outside. I want to show you some of the outside here. And just kind of stroll around on the porch. You can just kind of look up and down and go that way. And it's a big porch. The porch is 8 feet wide and 42 feet long, with the bay window projecting out into the porch. Don't fall off the steps. A lot of the stuff that I got for this house came from flea markets and yard sales. So I got a lot of stuff at discounts. Now this air conditioner, I changed out air conditioners, and the reason this is laying here because this frame no longer fits the air conditioner that I've got here, and I've got to make a slightly bigger frame to cover this up. So this house is about 11 years old, and I've swapped out air conditioners, both air conditioners, once already. Because air conditioners do not last like they used to in the old days. Back in the 70s, 60s and 70s, you buy a window air unit, that thing lasted 20 years, but you're lucky if they last 5 years now. But that's why I like the fact that they're easy to swap out. Let's go look around a little bit. put some azaleas in the front. I had to replace azaleas on these corners of the steps because a renter's dog peed on one and killed it. So I just took both of them out and put some nice red ones there. And the end of the house, when you look at the end of the house, you can see how small the house is. When you look at the front of the house, you have no clue. You have no clue that it's a small house. I mean, this thing could be put in a neighborhood of large homes and people would not even know it. Like if it's a lot that's shallow with a bluff going up and you have no backyard, you want a house that looks grand and quaint but on a hard to build lot, this would be a good house for that. This end of the house, I still have one board to put up there underneath the roof, which haven't done that in 11 years. I'm still haven't done that 11 years later. But now you see the door up there? When I designed the trusses, I created what is known as room and attic. So when you open that door, there's a walk plate through the entire attic that's pretty much the shape of that door. And you just duck your head a little bit and there's a runway, there's a platform that you can walk from one end of this house to the other. And it makes it easy when you're up there doing any service work, and it made it easy to go up there and do the blown insulation because I didn't have to really crawl and contort through all those trusses and stuff because I had that room and attic pathway to go from one end of the house to the other. Made it very easy. And I put the door on the outside because the house is so small that if I put an opening in the ceiling somewhere in the house, it would just be intrusive, I think. I think it would just be obnoxious. Like if I put it in the hallway, you'd see that big cutout in the ceiling. And plus in a rent house, you don't want your renters to have access to the attic space in a rental. So I've got this door up there and it's got a lock on it, it's secure, and renters do not have access to the attic space. This post lamp is basically a cedar 4x4. Come around here because I want to show you how this is made. Now these post lamps I got at discount. They're not that pretty, but I'm going to paint them again. The paint is old, so I'm going to repaint them. And they're on a photo eye right here, which makes them come on when it gets a little darker, and they're automatic. The photo eye is a little too sensitive right now because they come on when it's just way before dark. Now the way this was done is a notch was cut in this 4x4 all the way down. If you look, you can see there's an insert, a piece of wood inserted in here. And what that is, that piece of wood is actually the edge of a fence picket. And so the notch was routed out the size of the fence picket all the way down. So the wire could be laid in there, and then this piece of fence picket slipped in there and glued in place, and you paint over it. Then when you stand back, you don't even know it. You can't even tell it. So instead of having a wire on the outside of the 4x4 going up, it's inside the wood underneath that strip of fence picket, and it makes it look very, very streamlined, very neat. Come on around here. I want to show you that. It's in a nice country setting. Very nice little country setting here. And you got these lamp posts. There's 3 lamp posts to illuminate the place. And you got this pin oak tree that I grew. The birds planted it. And I spotted it when it was about 4 inches tall, and I put a ring of rocks around it. And that thing has been growing for about 20 years. And it got that big in just 20 years. If you see the end of the house here, you see the 2 windows at the end. It's very quaint. Now, there's a hatch. I made double doors at the crawl space down there, so that I have access, easy access to the underside of the house. And that also is padlocked from renters. Now, take a look at the house, and you see the windows, they're narrow and tall. Look at the trim on the windows. The side trim is narrow, and the top piece is tall. And then I put another little piece on the top, which gives it that old farmhouse look. And if you look at the vent up in the attic, that vent is narrow and tall. It's 1 foot wide and 2 feet tall. And the house itself is sitting high off the ground. So if you notice the theme on, or the pattern that I ran here was narrow and tall on everything I did. The window trim, the windows, the space between the porch posts, narrow and tall. And I gave the main house roof a full 45-degree pitch, so it gives it that height. All of this lends to making the house feel larger than just the basic 530 square feet. It feels much larger than that when you walk up, and the inside, the floor plan is very fluid, so you don't feel like you're in a box when you get inside, because if you're in one end of the house, you can't even see the other end of the house, and you can't see every part of the house standing in one spot, which also lends to a house feeling larger. Plus the fact that there are lots of windows, which let in a lot of light. All of those things contribute to that. So it's a very economical plan, and the way I built it was I built the floor with treated lumber, and I put deck boards on the 2x12s so that I would have something to walk on during the construction. And the reason I did this with the treated lumber for the floor joists and the deck boards on top of that, so that it could rain on it. I never would have to worry about it. It was built like an outside deck. And then I came in, after I built the floor, I came in about 3 or 4 months later, after lots of rain, and I think it snowed on it once or twice. That I came in and then started the walls. And so once I got the walls started, then I kept going until I got the roof on. And all these parts and pieces were paid for out of weekly income. So I would go and I would buy parts and I would put them together out of income. Well, this little house, as small as it is, it took 3 years to build it, but I built it with cash. Now, you may say, oh, it took you 3 years and it's only 530 square feet, but look at it this way. How many people own their home in 3 years? And look at it another way. How many people don't even have a home? So by doing it this way, I had a home, paid for in cash, and it was all mine and ready to move into and finished in 3 years. This is a way for someone who doesn't have a house at all to move into an area that allows you to take your time to build a house. Some places it's unrestricted, preferably out in the country or something, or buy a spot with a lot of land where you're not close to somebody who's going to complain, and just start building your house. Live in an RV or something until you get it built. And then this particular house is easily expandable to the back. Once you get the part built that you can live on, then you can expand it to the back later on and do the same thing, exactly what you did with the first part. You go to the back, you spend 2 or 3 years expanding to the back. I could put another bathroom, a new laundry, and 2 bedrooms back there. This could easily be expanded to a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home. And also, that living room could be expanded. The living room could become the dining room, and the new living room put to the back of the house. And lots of possibilities. And there are always ways of owning a home and staying out of debt. And that's what I have strived to do, and that's what I've accomplished. So I hope you enjoy the video.